Autistic Commando here, aka Autistic Dad, and we're going to talk about managing burnout. Burnout is a very real thing. In fact, burnout affects most autistic individuals because of this thing called masking. That's where we pretend to be somebody else to fit into society. But it also comes with balancing a lot of tasks that we have to complete. Let's talk about how to manage that, how to minimize it, and how to work through it. So step one is understanding what burnout is. You've got to recognize that burnout is basically prolonged fatigue. Basically, your body doing the same task over and over until it gets annoyed, or in this case, exhausted. So think of it like weightlifting or doing any sort of sport. No matter how fit you are, and you can get really, really fit, but at some point your body's going to start wearing out. That's what burnout is for your mind, because your mind acts a lot like a muscle. Eventually, your brain is going to get exhausted. So burnout is basically where you are performing stressful tasks longer than your body wishes to, invoking a physiological response. Do this for too long and your body says, I'm tired. When you try to fight through it, it can result in a lot of different symptoms. So you've got anger, frustration, being short-tempered, irritable. Basically, all of those are the same one. And then you've got the inability to focus. A great way to recognize if you are in burnout is to do something that you know how to do very well and see if you can do it at the same level that you used to do. With me, it's playing a game like Broforce. And while I'm playing it, if I find myself playing at a lower level than I'm used to, that's a clear sign that I'm in burnout. Losing your thoughts, like mid-thought, you can't figure out that word, or you can't figure out where your mind was going, or losing track of your thought process. That is another clear sign that you are in the early stages of burnout, if not mid-stages. Because when you have to push through, you can push through. You learn to push through just like athletes do, to the point where you don't recognize that you are dealing with a challenge in your life that is known as burnout. So how do you reduce this? Well, number one, we've got STEM tools. In fact, I'm going to show you one right now. This is the ONO Roller, and I highly recommend it. I'm going to be putting a link in the description. Might not be right when this video is out. The ONO Roller, it was gifted to me from somebody on TikTok, and think of it like a fidget spinner, only it's really silent and really durable. I very much enjoy this because it just gives me something to do with my hands, just to take my mind off of something. But then you need to take 10 minutes away from whatever you're doing. Like there are times when you feel burnout coming and you feel fatigued, you feel exhausted, and you need to take that extra 10 minutes. The cool thing about work is that work has to give reasonable accommodation for somebody who is autistic. So if you need to take 5 to 10 minutes just to stim, just to watch TikTok videos, or to do something to take your mind off of it, that will make you more productive and it will reduce burnout. And then there's ambient noise while you're working. Seriously, when I used to work for a large company, I would always have my headset on because I was doing a lot of data entry, which is very draining for somebody like me. It's monotonous. It's the same thing over and over and over again, and all you're basically doing is coding. That is not what I'm built to do. I'm built to do very complicated things. With the ambient noise, it basically gives my brain a natural distraction, and I highly, highly recommend it. You can do earbuds, you can do earphones. Having ambient noise in the background while you're working is very, very beneficial. And I like to have rain noises, and I like to have lo-fi music. That's a great way to go about it. And then have a hobby. And not just have a hobby, have a symbol of hobby at your work. So you can have a picture of your favorite anime, because I love anime. But you can have a picture of a violin, or you playing the violin, or whatever your hobby is. Maybe it's an action figure of your favorite whatever it is. Just have something there to remind you of your hobby. Because the reminder of your hobby sets your mind into a different perspective. It takes you away from the immediate task on a subconscious level, as well as semi-conscious level. It could be family. A picture of your family can be very rewarding to a lot of people in their workplace because they think about better times, and that puts them in a different disposition. And then set up something to look forward to after work. Something that you're going to do after work, whether it's cooking your favorite burger, because I just made a jalapeno burger that was amazing. It was amazing. Or it could be going to play soccer. It could be playing a video game. It could be whatever it is, playing with your children. But set up something to look forward to after work. These are good for lessening your chances of falling into burnout. But what about preventing it? Number one, have at least 2 hobbies. 2 of them. Not 1, 2. Because one hobby can also lead to burnout, and you can be obsessed with that one hobby. I get it. I've been there. Have at least 2 hobbies that you like to do. I love to sing. I love martial arts. I love video games. I love anime. Okay, so I've got 4 right there that I can really dive into. So those 4 different hobbies give me different distractions to take my brain away from doing the same thing over and over and over again, which can lead up to burnout because it causes fatigue. You're doing the same thing over and over again instead of diversifying it, and thus your brain naturally will start to burn out because it's built to do more than just one thing at a time. And I hope you love our birds in the background. I do. We have two lovebirds. One is a peach lovebird and one is a fisher. And they're loving each other. And now that you have those hobbies established, set up time for those hobbies every day. And I mean every day, even if it's just for 15, 30 minutes. Set up time for those hobbies. Give yourself that natural distraction. At the end of my day, I watch YouTubes that I think are funny. Whose Line Is It Anyway? I love watching, redo clips of those because they're fun. They're nice. They make me laugh. But then the next step is to set a reminder to take a break. Okay, this is how you create a work-life balance, is you have to set up reminders, even if it's every hour, to take 5 minutes. Set those reminders. Put them on your phone. We've got smartphones. You're on your computer. You can set up reminders on your computer. These things are important because it forces you to take a break or to remember to take a break. Sometimes you'll be engrossed in whatever task you're doing, and that's okay. It's okay to be there. If you're like completely in it and you're just like, I'm going to power through this. This is fun. Okay, if you're having fun, that's a whole different story. You want to prevent burnout, which means you need to take breaks here and there. Instead of running, instead of jogging, take a walk. You got to slow yourself down at times to prevent the burnout. And time reminders will do that. Alarms will do that. The next part of work-life balance is build friendships. And I know that's hard these days. I know that can be so difficult because we don't know who to trust. We don't know who to hang out with. If you're autistic or ADHD, I highly, highly recommend from the bottom of my heart, go to TikTok. There is a huge community there. I've developed friends there that I talk to on a regular basis. One guy sends me all sorts of awesome videos and I'm like, yes, I'm looking forward to this. And he actually goes by the name ? I think it's pretty cool. Make sure you have that social connection, even if it's just online. Because I'm on TikTok under Autistic Commando. I read every comment, and you'd be surprised the friendships you meet there. In fact, I met my wife on TikTok. Okay, she liked one of my videos. I liked one of her videos back. We started talking, and all of a sudden I crossed the country for her. And boom, we're married. The next step in your work-life balance is you absolutely take 15 minutes every single day to meditate. I know that sounds a little hokey to some people. Seriously, taking that time to just sit there in stillness and think about your day. Think about where your emotional state is. Why did I react to this thing over here the way I did? Or explore into your mind, like, how do I feel in this moment? And there's all sorts of different types of meditations. I strongly encourage Wim Hof breathing. Okay, look it up. WIMHOF breathing. If you look it up on YouTube, they'll give you a guided, breathing exercise. And those birds are even chirping like, oh, I'm excited for Wim Hof breathing. I think so. Wim Hof breathing is great because it forces your body to relax. You can also look up box breathing. Box breathing is something that's done by the military and people of the military to calm down, especially with PTSD. It forces your body into a relaxed state. And once you're in that relaxed state, let your brain run wild. You can direct it or you can just let it run free. But either way, take some time to meditate. Start off with 15 minutes per day and then work your way up to 30 minutes per day by a month. Within 30 days, 30 minutes per day. Do this. It will make your life entirely different. I promise you from the bottom of my heart, I've gone without it and I've gone with it. It makes every bit of difference. And I've talked to so many people. Meditation is extremely important. Listen to any guru. Okay, listen to any business professional. Meditation is important. Lastly, turn something you love into a ritual every day. I love coffee. I love making coffee. I love making espresso. I got these little Cuban plates and these little Cuban cups, and I do like a shot of Cafe Bustelo or something else like dark roast. And I do the Cuban espresso experience because I love it, and turn it into a ritual. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to do it that way, step by step by step by step. When I make my wife lattes, I go through a very strict procedure. Like, okay, I put in the caramel sauce first into where the espresso is going to go. I put brown sugar over the top of it, maybe a little bit of cinnamon. She doesn't like nutmeg, but I do. That is a ritual for me, but it's fun because that ritual adds to a certain sense of balance. And then by the time you're done, there's a certain sense of pride that comes along with it. I'm going to come to you with more tips for managing burnout, but these are the basics that I'm giving you. And I promise you, these basics will help. So at the beginning of the video, I told you how to manage it within your workspace, but then also how to create a work-life balance with rituals and with hobbies and meditation. It's so important. Please, please trust me on this one. And I'm going to give you more tips in the future. Like and subscribe, and look out for Autistic Dad Teaches. I'll catch you next time.